What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and the 21-year-old who has now been found and charged under the Espionage Act and under multiple counts is in custody today and looking at a lot of prison time, what most people are calling treason here today. Take a look at this.
Now with new details on the charges against the suspected intel leaker, just got the criminal complaint here. And we're learning that he is charged with unauthorized retention and transmission of national defense information and unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. And back with us is former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade. So those are the two charges stated on these documents, Barbara. What do these charges mean?
Well, they're both very serious charges. The first one, the Espionage Act charge, is the most serious. It brings with it a 10-year penalty. It makes it a crime for someone to willfully remove or transmit national defense information. The other one is a 5-year penalty. That is the one that makes it a crime to remove classified information. So by charging both of these, it strikes me as a wise choice because strategically it will cover everything that he may have possessed and then shared. Some things are classified but don't relate to the national defense. Some things are national defense but are not classified. By charging both of these, they will cover the universe of everything that he might have shared. These are steep penalties, up to 15 years in prison for this. Of course, a judge doesn't have to sentence someone that high if there are mitigating factors, but no doubt this is a serious crime.
So we're talking about potentially hundreds of documents, right, and other records that were shared online that we know of at least. So there's a significant amount of evidence we know prosecutors have right now. How difficult do you think it will be to prosecute this case?
Well, it will depend on the facts, but I think that there are a couple of things they'll need to show. One is that he's the person who did it. It seems that based on what we've seen in reporting, that evidence is going to be strong. There will be an electronic paper trail from his computer and his access that can probably show that he accessed the documents at the same time that they were compromised. There are also photographs showing screenshots that match up with his parents' home where he lived. And so I think proving that he's the one who did it sounds like it'll be fairly strong. The other is that the person willfully disclosed these things. Again, you'd have to show that he was indeed the one going by OG online and it wasn't some other person. But that seems like a link that will be provable, and that his disclosure was willful. That is, he knew it was illegal to do it based on the kinds of training and policies and warnings that all people with classified backgrounds get. I imagine it will be difficult for him to somehow say he had no idea he wasn't supposed to share these things. So my guess is it'll be a strong case, but of course the evidence will matter.
Yeah, so potential 15 years in prison here for him today. But the damage is done. These documents are out there, and still a lot of this being sifted through here by the public and damaging information on Ukraine, on Russia, on China, and secrets of American and all these different countries here, and what is true, what is not true, because some of these that are out there may have been photoshopped, and it's pretty easy to do. I could do it if I wanted to. I could literally take a document, white it out in Photoshop, and change a number and put it back online. So there's really a lot, literally in the national interest of security of our country going through here. Also here today, several things here for you. Number one, the Supreme Court refuses to stop a $6 billion student loan debt settlement. Also, questions on whether President Biden will extend the student loan payment pause also being thrown around here today. Both of these under, well, the student loan, $6 billion student loan debt settlement, this has now, the student loan, the Supreme Court did not refuse it. This is different. Yeah, this is for $6 billion in student loan debt for students who say they were misled by their schools, mostly for non-profit institutions, for nearly 200,000 borrowers. This is in a debt settlement, so this is pretty much official here at this point. So the Supreme Court saying it's official, and they're not going to step in and overrule it. This is for 151 institutions that student impacted by the settlement, and 3 who challenged the lawsuits, and it's done now. You can see here the student loan pause or forbearance is going to go until 60 days after the education department is allowed to implement the one-time debt cancellation, or the litigation is resolved by the Supreme Court, or June 30th, 2023, whichever comes first. Now, the president can extend this, but we have not gotten any word from this yet. And honestly, even though the Supreme Court has heard the arguments on this, they're hearing a lot of cases here all the time, and we may not get a ruling, a final answer on their decision until around then, around June. So millions and millions of people are left in limbo, and around that time is when both of those decisions might be happening. When whether or not people are going to get the $10,000 to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness, and whether or not the student loan forbearance, the payment pause, is going to end about at the same time as well. So President Biden could extend this also. So I'll keep you up to date here on both of those as we get more information. The other big issue with this is that Republicans, especially, are against the student loan forgiveness, especially because, I mean, not all of them, but some of them, because they want to cut costs, they want to cut the budget deficit and spending. This is one of the things that some Republicans are against. We've seen the challenges, all the challenges for the student loan forgiveness come from the Republican side. So we've seen some challenges from Republicans in Congress say, we want to cut that out. That's where we could cut some spending. But if the Supreme Court upholds it, they probably won't be able to cut that, at least in that area. So we will see. We will see. I'll keep you up to date here. But we do have Republicans, if you've been watching my channel, I'm not really picking sides here, that do want to cut some things going forward with the debt ceiling negotiations. And we'll have to see what happens with that, because we do still have that looming around here as well. That's going to be a big thing here going forward on, they have to pass the debt ceiling or else our U.S. government could default. And it just seems like the weeks are rolling by on that with no progress between the Democrats or the Republicans. President Biden has not meted with Kevin McCarthy, which they really need to sit down and do. That's really just the first step on this. And if they don't do this, our government defaults, because they're going to run out of money at some point. And I think that what's going to happen is they're going to literally wait till the last minute. And then, I mean, why do they do this? Why does Congress do this? It's like Republicans and Democrats are complete opposite thinkers. They can't agree on anything. And then they're going to wait till the last minute on this stuff. And then what's going to happen is they're going to be like, oh, we don't want to, both sides are going to be like, oh, we don't want to cut this. We don't want to cut that. They're going to have two completely different lines of thinking. And then they're going to be like, well, we have to do this by tomorrow. And what's going to happen is kaboom, right? They need to be doing this like yesterday or a month ago, and they're not. This is the problem. And then you have any type of like crises pop up, and if you've been watching my channel, it just seems like there's crises after crises after crises, right? It's Congress. It's like, what are you guys doing, right? Can you? So I don't know why they're not working on this. It's just absolutely foolery. It's literally negligence. They're playing with people's lives. They're playing with our money, taxpayer money, and it's just they need to be doing this now, and they're not. I don't know. I don't know. Kevin McCarthy and Biden need to meet now. So let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date here on this and everything else going on here in our country on a daily basis. And because they're going to be cutting some stuff, but we don't know what they're going to be cutting. And I mean, I don't know. So make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon. I'll keep you up to date here. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's some videos you should watch next. Here's a bill that President Biden just signed with some major changes that are going to happen here. And here's a video about China is going to invade, and you'll hear an actual interview about it. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.